get going on Golden Slipper Day in the 90s.
Moss Rocket is in front at the 300. Bint Marscay the first to go after him. They're a mile in front of Keltrice and Rose's Image, but it's Bint Marscay. Mighty Mick drives the filly to the lead. Bint Marscay, and she is straightening them. Look at her go. Bint Marscay coming away to record a brilliant slipper win. At the 200, Lord Jim headed by St Covered, but here comes Danzero. Danzero down the outside is about to swamp these leaders. Danzero coming at St Covered. St Covered is kicking again. It's St Covered and Danzero. They hit the line, heads up, heads down. I reckon Danzero. Oh, Ken, what a thriller. It's a head bobber, but I reckon Greg Hall has snared his first slipper. Zed Richards bullocking into the clear, followed by Flying Spur and Kidman's Cove. Our Marscay clear with 100 to go. Millrich, the filly, is coming after him quickly and getting between them. Flying Spur, and look at Octagonal jumping out of the ground. Flying Spur hit the front. Flying Spur wins the slipper. But here comes Merlene. Merlene on the outside is coming at paint with flavour between them. Merlene shot to the front 100 metres out. She's racing away the little Danehill filly, and Merlene is going to score a magnificent win in the slipper. 4 for the Freedmans.
So 25 years ago, now the man joins us himself. Does it seem like, welcome Lee, does it seem like yesterday or a long time ago?
Thanks, Bruce. It seems like a century ago to me, to be honest. And no, it's great to be here and see some great live racing, which I haven't seen for 12 months in Singapore. And no, it's wonderful to be back, and particularly on a big day like this where, you know, my family and I had such a big impact over the years. Yeah. I'd like to just have a quick shout out to Corey Brown, a good mate of mine who's just had back surgery after the vicissitudes of racing have played with him for the last 12 months, so we'll see you soon. No,
well done. We had a great chat to him last week, Lee, as you'll probably know. So those slippers, they were all a bit different. There was a common theme, and it was Danehill. I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit later. But you had a couple of fillies in there and a couple of colts in there that went on to stand at stud, didn't they? So they were all, in their own way, remarkable. Bint Marscay was just a dominating win in the end, and she didn't start racing till about February the 27th.
Look, it's a remarkable story, which I'll shorten up. She actually went into the slip work and racing in total. It was just ridiculous.
And then Danzero came along, and of course this was the Danehill trilogy, wasn't it, Lee?
It was. Well, we discovered Danehill, or he discovered us, and we just had a marvellous run with his stock, and that one was one for Kerry Packer and Lloyd Williams. So, you know, they were well-bred horses.
Is it true that you didn't have to buy any beer for 12 months after the fourth one?
Well, actually, yeah, I was standing out there on a lorry loaded with beer, and it came for about 6 months, and they said it was for life, but I'm still here and the beer stopped.
Well, you've done it right. They used to have the Tancred on Golden Slipper Day, Katie. This sort of slipper's changed a bit. And in 2005, Grand Army was just about... He's the best weight for age horse in Australia, I thought, didn't you?
At the time.
At the time. So he's leading here, and this is a diva in the Tancred.
Yeah. Well, this is quite incredible. I was watching this with her owner, Tony Santic, and I said it at the turn. I said, well, we're going to run a good second to Grand Army. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the words were out of my mouth, she just went into another gear. And it was probably... outside of her last cup, that was probably her greatest win, that.
Gee, she just was so tough, wasn't she?
Yes,
she just always came from spots where you just didn't think she was going to win, didn't she?
Yeah.
I always often remember the Cox Plate when she was 8 wide circling the field.
Yeah. Well, champions can do that, and unfortunately we don't get enough of them.
So, Lee, the big move, you're coming to Australia, you're going to base yourself on the Gold Coast. So how quickly before you can be up and training?
Well, yeah, we've had 3.5 years in Singapore, and I've really enjoyed that. That was great, and we were pretty successful there, but it's time to come home, and I thought the Gold Coast was a good fit, mainly because I like warm weather now and humidity, and I like the beach. So, no, it looked a good fit at this time in my life, and we can always bring horses if they're good enough. We'll bring them to Sydney or Melbourne or whatever.
So how many horses are we talking, and how quickly will those stables be ready?
Well, we've got stock, but we've got no shop at the moment. So we need a shop, and look, the Gold Coast Turf Club is taking care of that, so we'll be up and running hopefully during the early part of May. But the 14 that we've bought are yearlings, so they won't be racing until at least October, November or beyond. So it'll then remain how many horses get sent up from down south. I mean, I've already had chats with my brothers and my nephews, etc., about horses that they may feel are better suited for Queensland, and there'll be a bit of synergy in that.
And talking about the family tree, it's growing immensely since you've left to Singapore and come back, and all your nephews now.
Yeah.
Of course, Richard and Michael doing an excellent job with.
Well, all those nephews cost a fortune to keep, so it's about time they started keeping us a bit, I think.
But we get a thrill out of it. Do you? I mean,
yeah, very much so. I think young Sam has been a revelation. He did 2-3 years in with Roger Varian, and he learned a lot there, and he's come back and he's really taken to it with, you know, an enormous amount of application. And I'm particularly proud of young Will, Richard's boy, because he's gone out on his own. You know, he's got average horses and he's winning races with them every week, and he's so enthusiastic. So I think they've both got good futures ahead of them.
Let's go back to Sam. He and his father Anthony have got Artorias in today. They've had a great run. They won the Blue Diamond. This horse having his 5 weeks now, Lee, since the Blue Diamond. Can this horse bring this form on a different track today?
Look, this horse has got, I don't know a lot about him. I just watched this win. I actually backed him this day because I thought he had a really good chance. He was a great price too, Bruce, 15 to 1. But about the last winner I backed, I think. But look, the only thing he's got against him today is whether they can make up a lot of ground here. And secondly, I don't think there's been too many slipper winners in modern times that I can think of that haven't run at Rose Hill. Now that's become a bit anomalous because with the STC and the AJC merging to the ATC, a lot more racing's done at Randwick. So a lot of these lead-ups that used to be run here are now run at Randwick. So a horse is going to do it.
So the your two other brothers, or two of the other three brothers, Michael and Richard, have got 2 runners, glistening. But Stay Inside particularly, have you been impressed with Stay Inside? Very
much so. I think he's an ideal horse for the slipper. He's an ideal horse in this soft ground. He was a bit of an unknown quantity last week had they raced on heavy ground, but this week, this is perfect ground for him. He's got a great...
Live through these 5 Group 1s. We're off.